Shalom. I'd like to say all praise due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostle of Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to the elect out there. Alright. It's me, Kanawa, doing this lesson here. I'm gonna entitle it basically Port Royal, Jamaica, right? The Port Royal, Spanish, Florida, the Seminole, and the Cubans, right? And the Bahamas, right? So these are like some articles on on the internet, Wikipedia, right? Seminole, the Seminole Indians, they inhabited these regions, right? Known as Florida, Georgia, West Florida, and even going to Mexico as well. They caught a lot of after the Trail of Tears. A lot of them went to Florida. A lot of them went to like Mexico, and they inhabited Mexico and stuff. And our history is very complex and very cryptic. It's very hidden, all right? Because Esau has Esau has all the artifacts. He has all the records. All right. I have this book called Lost Tribes and Promised Land by Ronald Sanders. I suggest you buy it. I'm gonna put it Lost Lands and Promised Lands. This is a very good book by the author is Ronald Sanders, right? And he's an Edomite. He's a Jew, a so-called Jew. All right, and basically he goes into the 10 tribe that came over. All right, but I'm like this is gonna be a brief lesson, right? So this is Spanish Florida, was the first major European landing claim and attempted settlement area in Northern America during the European Age of Discovery, right? Because the explorers, they were given they were given like permission basically to travel out, and sail the lands, right? And and like basically like conduct trade and traffic, and that's what our people did, right? Because basically 1492 was the last Moorish stronghold known as Granada, right? And you had Jake, who were into that whole Catholicism known as the Knights Templars and the Order of Christ, and throughout Portugal and Spain, and they got rid of the Moors and a lot of the Jews. So a lot of our people came to the New World and established settlement here in the Americas, right? And like Portmore, this is Port Royal, Port Royal, Jamaica, right? Right now, Port Royal was destroyed by an earthquake, right? I believe in the 1400s, right? And basically, basically like 2/3 of Port Royal is underwater. And I was watching a video a couple of days ago, and there's also a tunnel throughout Port Royal, and you could walk right through underground, like to the airport, the Norman Manley Airport in Jamaica. That was a thing I was observing here on the internet by one of these bloggers in Jamaica. All right, so Port Royal is a town located at the end of the Palisades of the Mount of Kingston Harbor in southern Jamaica, founded in 1492 by the Spanish, right? Because our people basically came and they explored, and we set up these cities here in the Americas. Cause you already had the Arawak, so like you already had the Arawak Indians, the Arawak Indians, the Tainos, all right, and these the 10 tribes that was already here, all right. So I'm gonna get that. Second Esdras. Second Esdras. Slovakia. Second Esdras 13 and 40 Slovakia. Second Esdras 13 and 40. These are the 10 tribes which was carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Samnazar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters. So came they into another land, basically into Assyria, because they were led away out of the land, right, of Israel. Right, the 10 tribes were basically put into captivity under the Assyrian Empire. Right, because the southern tribe Judah and Israel, or the northern tribe, they were basically at war. Right, basically after the death of King Solomon, the kingdom of Solomon's kingdom was split. All right, and basically there was many wars, and when you read the book of the Kings and stuff and the Chronicles, goes into the wars with Judah and Israel, and that envy, that envy and that war, right? Because a lot of our people, a lot of the northern tribe, they were worshiping idols and stuff. They were into all kind of idolatry. All right, and basically they were led away into the Assyria, right? Basically, the Most High got tired of the Judah, he got tired of the kingdom of Judah, and basically, because when you read about the book of Judges and stuff, right? You know, like we were basically led into these different like we were led into these different like captivities under the Moabites, the Hamites, right? The Canaanites and whatever, all these different empires, Ammon, right? We were led in the way into so many different like captivities when you read about the book of Judges. Then when you go into like the you know Joshua, and then basically like when you go into like the book of the Kings, like Judah, like there's only a handful of righteous kings, or probably two or probably three or four who was righteous, and the others were into this whole idolatry, man. But basically 70 AD came, the Romans, right, and they put some of our people into captivity, and then our people were led into Rome, right, like with the whole Roman Colosseums and stuff, right? And then yeah, that's what happened, right? And then the other tribes, it's like these other nations came. You had like those like Kushites calling themselves Jews. They're known as some like the Samaritans, who were basically the so-called Falasha Jews. When you read in the book of Kings, that they were doing all kind of idolatry, and then one man, a Levi, came and he basically taught them, like how to keep the statues and customs, so that because they were I could get it. It's like, yeah. I don't want to go all over the place, but yeah, that basically like we messed up, man. All right, and then we were driven off from the land, right? But I'm gonna start again. So these are the 10 tribes that were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanazar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so they came there into another land, into Assyria. But they took this counsel among themselves that they should leave the multitude of the heathen and go further into another country where never mankind dwelt, because they already knew, right? During the time of Solomon and during the time of King David, you had the Phoenicians, right? Harem Abif, right? That they came over to the New World, right? And they were always traveling, right? They had their navy, right? And they would go throughout the world, right? And they would like come back. Basically, could get that because I don't want to seem like I'm making this shit up, right? First Kings 10 and 22. For there for the king had set a navy of Tarshish, whom the navy of Harem, Salakia, Salakia, that's Satan. Okay, First Kings 10 and 22. For the king had at the sea a navy of Tarshish. All right, so that's like Tarshish is Spain, with the navy of Harem. One in the 3 years came the navy of Tarshish, bringing gold and silver and ivory and apes and peacocks. Right, so all these exotic animals and elements, right, that they were trading, and they would go every basically 3.5 years, right? Like they would go and trade, and they would come back to the new world, right? And Jake was already mixed up with those Phoenicians, right? Um, you know, but first, second Esdras 12 and 40. These are the 10 tribes. Sorry, but they took this counsel among themselves that they should leave the multitude of the heathen and go further into another country where never mankind dwelt, that they might there keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land, right? Which that was basically they 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 basically came. All right, I'm gonna keep reading, but basically they were trying to. They knew that like about the new land, all right? Basically, the Americas, right? And but like basically, Slovakia. Basically, you know, it like they didn't fulfill it, right? So they were still into that whole idolatry, like even like basically like even when the 10 tribes came, our people were into the whole idolatry work, into that whole idolatry, like even when they came to the Americas, right? So so it shows you. So that basically like that's why um like we fell, right? Like when the whole like conquistadors, right, were the Spanish, right, which were a lot of them were Israelites, Jakes, right, that was into that whole Catholicism and whatever, and they basically and they subjugated like the tribes, right, and basically they set up a colony here in the Americas, and that's what happened. You could read it for yourself, like Ezra 13:40 all the way down. All right, I'm kind of running out of time. I didn't want to go too long. All right, so this is the Spanish Florida, right? And when you look at when you look at the X, the cross, just like how Jamaica has the cross, Scotland, um, there's another country in the Caribbean that has the cross too. I think it's, I think it's Grenada. Right? They have the same cross, right? Because this was already like the whole Confederate, basically like that whole like Confederacy flag is really the Israelites flag, right? The Moors, right? Because our people were free men, right? When you read about the Seminole Indians, they had slaves, right? They were basically they were like Moranos, right? They're mixed up, basically like they were mixed up with the 10 tribes, right? But like a lot of like the Judah, Benjamin, Levi, they came to the New World, you know, and set up shop here in the Americas, right? When you read Second Ezra 13 and 40. All right, cause share this link in the description. All right, you know, cause when you look at like Bahamas and stuff, it's right there. Like Florida's right there. All right, so we're like this is the Atlantis that we live in right here, right? The Atlantis, right? The you know, because basically the pirates, the whole Pirates of the Caribbean, right, was you know, where the Moors, right, they were they're basically like buccaneers and stuff, and they had great trade, great merchandise. They were merchants, right? Um, I have another book. It's called The Portuguese Jews of Jamaica by Mordecai Arbil. So a lot of our people, they brought in like the Sephardic Slacken, not the Sephardic, like the Ashkenazi Jews, right? And they brought them to the New World. Even, and also there were a lot of our people who were the Ashkenazi throughout Germany as well, right? Um, our history is very complex, right? Very, cause it's not brought out on the it's not brought out on in on like the public, right? A lot of this history is hidden, and it's like you have to go searching for it, right? Because Esau, he has all the right records in the Vatican, right? He's doing all this archaeological digging, going under the water, taking a lot of the gold and the precious artifacts. So Esau is like the perfect devil, right? Uh, a lot of that like a lot of our history are in these in like these private museums, right? Into these the Vatican, right? Certain of these of the lodges and stuff. A lot of our history is like hidden, and they don't want us to know our history. So they want to have our people confused, you know. But you know, they have the Seminole Indians, right? This is you know, I suggest you should buy this book, or if you don't buy it, you could download a PDF known as The Lost Tribes and Promised Land by Ronald Sanders and the Portuguese Jew of Jamaica. But I didn't want to go so long. I just wanted to just bring out this fact and stuff, because a lot of our history is hidden. A lot of our tribes, a lot of the brothers, right, who was of the Caribbean, right, or Central America, or South America. A lot of like some of these, a lot of our like a lot of the population are the tribe, the 10 tribe that was already here in the Americas, right, and then eventually you have you had like the Sephardic Jews that came over to the New World, and then you had you know um like the Scottish, like you had like the Jacobites, right? Who came over to the New World as well. All right, because you had Jake that were kings throughout Europe, right? So we're running shit through the world, right? And with this spirit jumps on me, in the future I'm gonna up you know, I have to keep doing my research as well too, right? Because it's like you have to do your own research, right? To like validate things, certain points. You have to do your own research, and it's very tedious, it's very wearisome, right? But I like going to the our history during the whole Dark Ages and in the New World. Jake that was came over to the New World and was running shit, right? But so with that, let us y'all praise due to you. How about Hashem? Yeah, wish I Hashem the Adawan apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and best to the elect. Hopefully this video is edifying. All right. Shalom.